Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios, The First 10 Years, Captain America Civil War with Captain America and Crossbones. We have Cap and Crossbones displayed here in the front window. We got a Marvel Studios logo, Legends logo, Civil War logo, Cap shield, all sorts of stuff going on in the front here. On the side we do have a quick read-up about the Civil War movie. If you want to read about that, go ahead and pause it now. On the back we do get a movie poster. It's number 9 in the series. We do get the read-up on both Cap and Crossbones, and since we got two of them, if you want to read those again, go ahead and pause it now. And then on this side we do have the Build-A-Picture piece for the Marvel Studios Build-A-Picture that is going on, and then at the bottom you do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that, let's get this open and take a look at Captain America and Crossbones. And here they are outside of their packaging with Crossbones delivering that powerful uppercut to Captain America there. And, these are some cool looking figures. I don't know whether or not we needed another Captain America, if this needed to be a 2-pack. We do get a updated paint job for the masked head sculpt, and then we do get an updated and actually looking like Chris Evans sculpt and paint job for an unmasked version. And then with Crossbones, we get a completely new figure to the MCU lineup, so that is very cool. As I've said before, it's nice to get some of these supporting MCU characters, especially some of the villains. But I feel like they could have done a Crossbones figure on his own, but maybe just to offset the cost. I don't know how that sort of stuff works. That's why they maybe that's why they included Cap. But we get a couple of accessories. So those those hydraulic mechanisms on Crossbones' arms actually do come off. So we'll get a quick look at those real quick, and then we'll look at Captain America's shield, and then we'll jump into the head sculpts when we get the closer looks on each of the figures. And looking at the shield here, it should look familiar to you because I just did a review on the Captain America Endgame figure, which used this one. So this one technically came first, but then we can see that Endgame figure reused the shield. For a quick comparison, this is the original Civil War shield. Not a whole lot of differences. You get a little bit more depth of detail in the line work around the silver, and then that star has a little bit more going on with it, which is pretty cool. And then on the back side, they are identical, though. Now, taking a look at Crossbones, so I mentioned these guys can come off, and you can see they just pull right off. You have a little bit of a handle there, hand grip, so that you can have him reach in there for that. But looking at these, they are a somewhat pliable, rubberish material, but they came out looking pretty cool. You got the straps there holding it on. It's a little bit crooked, it looks like, but you actually get a little bit of deco there on the hydraulic presses, and yeah, pretty menacing. So I think that is really neat. And they are the same on both sides. And just to show you again how you can fit that in and just have him grab right a hold of it. So pretty cool. And starting first here with the unmasked head sculpt for Crossbones, we can see some really cool details they put in there for that scarring. And yeah, it's really well done as far as the sculpt work goes. I'm not so sure about all the red and the pink there for the wounds and whatnot around there. It looks kind of rough-ish, but I don't know. It's still a pretty cool head sculpt, and I think it's neat to have. They didn't really have to include it, and I think it's good that they did. But aside from that, the hair and everything on that head sculpt came out pretty good. And then, just like any other Marvel Legends, you can just swap out the head, and we'll put on this guy here, and then we get the head sculpt that I think a lot of us will probably end up using, which is the masked head sculpt. But it's really cool because you can see that detail still back in the eyes. Let me see if I can get the light there a little bit better. You can still see the detail of the scarring around the eyes, and we get some really cool paint going on in there. And yeah, I think that was really well done. This head sculpt overall, I think, is really cool looking with the way the mask came out, and just, yeah, I like it a lot. I really do. Something interesting I just noticed underneath, though, is we have the flesh tone, so it almost looks like they took this head sculpt, the unmasked head sculpt, and actually just took that face and maybe put it inside of a different head. And that way you had the different color there as far as the design, the different color eye and whatnot. I don't know. That's interesting to me. But looking on to the rest of the figure, though, we have a lot of stuff going on here. So you have his harness here. Of course, we have the X going across his chest, which came out looking really cool. I like that. You get some detail throughout. You got rivets, and you got a lot of the silver paint work. He's got pockets and pouches and clasps and clamps and straps all over this thing. So it came out very neat. Pouches all over. I like it. Looking at his arm, we get some shotgun shells. Looks like a socket, maybe. I don't know. Pocket knife? I don't know. And then this is what the arm that doesn't have the hydraulic looks like. So it's just cloth, so nothing crazy there. And then going down on this side, you get a bunch of magazines for various weaponry. So again, very cool. And then you get a military-style belt. Looks like a nylon belt going through that doesn't have a large buckle or anything. Just has the little nylon straps, which I think is neat. And we do get a pistol in a holster. And it looks like for a split second there, because it even goes down there. But unfortunately, it is molded in, so that does not come out, which is a little bit disappointing. But oh well. And you get a little bit of a camouflage design for the legs going down. Some very cool knee pads. And again, you can see like rivets and things like that in the knee pads. Shin guards, again, rivets and just all sorts of metal work. Yeah, I think they did a lot of attention to detail for this character. And I think it came out looking really good. I like it. I like it a lot. And starting with the unmasked head for Captain America, we can see we finally get a very well done Chris Evans head sculpt. This looks awesome, and it looks like Chris Evans. It's well painted, well sculpted, and yeah, I like it. It's a little jarring the way the sideburns look like they're cut out in the head sculpt, and then that way the hair could be literally pressed in place versus just sculpted on there. But I think it looks good. For a comparison, this is the Civil War 3-pack head sculpt that we had gotten a few years ago, and I almost want to say it's the same head sculpt, but just better paint on the new one with a different hairpiece applied. Because if you look at like the way the brow is furrowed, look at the lines there coming from the nose, around the mouth. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this the same head sculpt, just better paint job applied? Maybe. I don't know. Speaking of which, we can see that this is essentially, or not essentially, it is the same figure. We get the same body mold, little difference in the blue, but otherwise you still get the Avengers logo on the sleeves and basically the same figure. With that being said, looking down at the figure real quick just to see some of the details, I mean, it looks good. I like it. This figure holds up well as a representation of Captain America from Civil War and even Age of Ultron and whatnot. I will say be careful with this one. That didn't happen on my other one. You see that light blue? That is a stress line from when I was trying some different poses. You can even see it's getting a little bit worse. So a little bit stress line there from doing that ab crunch backwards, but whatever. And then going down again, looks very good. Well done. And actually, let's see how good that Avengers logo. Yeah, they're pretty simple. Not a whole lot going on with them, so they came out good. So very cool. And then real quick, you do have the alternate head just to take a peek at that. And you can see that this one also has a well-done head sculpt where it does look like Chris Evans underneath there. So I do like that as well. I think it came out good. I think the paint looks good on it. And yeah, I'm just really happy to get some Chris Evans-looking figures now. And looking at the scale of these two guys, you can see Captain America is coming in at about 6 1/4 inches tall, and Crossbones is just a little bit over 6 inches tall. So we do have Crossbones coming in a little bit shorter than Cap. Looking at the articulation, though, on Crossbones, you got a head that can go side to side, bury his chin underneath that collar, can go back, but his head does hit that collar. You can bring his arms up, but you are going to hit this chest piece with those shoulder pieces, so you can't get all the way up. You do have full rotation. There is a bicep swivel, which these pieces, the shoulder guards, are attached to. Double jointed elbow, and then you do have a wrist rotation and hinge there if you're not using these hydraulic pieces if you want to. And then I did notice underneath, you can take this off, and underneath there is a a diaphragm joint under there, but you're probably not going to get a whole lot out of that because this piece is going to be very limiting. But regardless, you do still have a waist rotation in addition to that diaphragm joint. Legs that can go apart that far, kick forward that far, backwards, not too bad. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, and then you do have a hinge and ankle pivot. Looking at Captain America, we do have a head that can go down little bit further. There we go. Can go back, not too bad. And then, of course, it does turn side to side. You have arms that can actually go up pretty far, full rotation, a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. You do have a hinge and rotation there. And I will say, quality control issue, first time I ran into that. That is weird. I can't really do the hinge very well because the hinge on mine, I don't know, the piece got all messed up there, but whatever. And then you do have a ab crunch that can go down that far and then back that far, but like I mentioned, you can still see those stress marks pretty good there. You do have a waist rotation, legs that can go apart that far, kick forward, kick backwards, not much, upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, boot cut, and then hinge and ankle pivot. And that about does it for this review, everyone. And yeah, I'm skipping over the comparisons because I already did a comparison for the Captain America to the previous version. We already saw these two standing side by side when I was doing scale, and there's really nobody to compare Crossbones to other than, I don't know, maybe Scourge or something like that. But you know what, this is an older set, so we're just going to move on. But all in all, I picked this up on clearance. If you can find it right now still on clearance, then I say grab it just because having Crossbones is nice to round out that MCU collection that I've been talking about with most of these figures in this wave, that we're just getting figures that we didn't get before. Getting that updated Chris Evans sculpt is nice. It's a cool perk to getting this set, especially if you do get it on clearance. But overall, it's certainly not worth picking up because of the Captain America figure. It's worth picking up if you can get it cheap enough for the Crossbones figure. So personally, I'd say if you can find them for $20, that justifies to me the retail cost of the one figure that you really want. But with that being said, that is it for the review. Make sure to hit that like button down below if you like the review. Subscribe for more content just like this. And aside from that, thanks for watching my video and have a great day.